Okay, sir.
Everyone, welcome to this BAC Bravo meeting. This meeting is being streamed online via the CAAP YouTube account. Please acknowledge once your name is called. Secretariat, please do the roll call. Captain Donaldo E. Mendoza.
Present. Present.
Brigadier General Ernesto R. Milo. Engineer Gary M. J.D. Engineer Arnel.
Present.
Miss Jocelyn Ching. Present. Miss from the end user, Miss Dina Escarla, Irish Especial, Attorney Manila Dayan Espiritu,
Present.
present, Engineer Norim Baez, Mr. Jose
Present.
Eligio, Alfred E.
Okay.
Ventura, Engineer John Christian B. Cala, Maria Tricia Gonzalez,
Present.
from the back secretariat, overall head, Engineer Leandro R. Vargas, Attorney Mark Nestor T. Mendoza, Engineer Sonny J. Villabert, Minutes taker Ms. Sahara Teresa M. Uwit. Sir, also in attendance are the other members of the back secretariat as well as our observers from the COA, IAS, PCCI, and ASFI. That's all for the roll call, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you. Let's proceed with the primary items in the agenda. So, the first one we have the LSERV, I mean the manpower item, right? Are we ready for the presentation?
Yes, sir. Our first agenda, sir, is the submission and opening of bids for the concept negotiated procurement under emergency cases for the provision of technical and non-technical personnel support service requirements for CAAP Central Office and area centers nationwide for a period of 6 months, amounting to 694,647,557 pesos and 52 centavos. This is a negotiated procurement under emergency cases, sir. And we have a submission for this one.
Okay. Let's proceed with the presentation, please. Teka lang, Attorney Iris, your TWG here, di ba?
Yes, sir. Our secretariat, sir, is Mr. Leandro Vargas, sir. He is here, and the one who called the roll call is from the back secretariat, sir.
Para ikaw pa rin nagsisecretariat. Kaya mo sila to do the secretariat part. But in any case, let's proceed with the presentation, please.
Sir, this is for the opening of bid, sir. Requesting to admit our observer, sir, our representatives from LSERV.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. Please have a seat. Welcome to this Back Bravo meeting, and thank you for responding to our request for quotation, request for uh, for records purposes. Please state your name and the company that you represent. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Julian Das from Elser Corporation. Together with me is Ms. Dexy Calivara and Albert Damalan from Elser.
Thank you. Sir, requesting to proceed with the opening, sir.
Go ahead, please.
With us is an envelope from LSERV Corporation for the project Emergency Procurement of Manpower Outsourcing Contract for provision of technical and non-technical personnel support service requirements for CAAP Central Office and area centers nationwide for a period of 6 months. Sir, is this the bid proposal that you submitted?
Yes, you can.
Thank you, sir. Inside their submitted eligibility technical and financial requirement envelope is a folder. It has initials in each and every page and has tabbings. Checklist, please.
For eligibility requirements, valid mayor's permit or business permit.
Mayor's permit issued to LSERV Corporation, issued by the City of Makati, issued last January 6, 2022, with an expiration date on December 31, 2022, submitted.
For second requirement, valid field job certification of registration.
Certificate of Field Reps Registration issued to LSERV Corporation, formerly LBP Service Corporation, registered last May 31, 2002, issued last December 10, 2021, with an expiration date until December 24, 2022, submitted.
Income or business tax return. Third requirement.
Income or business tax return with filing reference filed through e-filing with reference number and filed last May 28, 2021, submitted.
Fourth requirement, original duly signed Omnibus Warrant statement.
Omnibus Warrant Statement signed by Mr. Joseph Angeles last April 2022, notarized, submitted.
Last is the registration of agency or contractor with the Department of Labor and Employment or DOL.
Certificate of registration to the Department of Labor and Employment. Issued last February 7, 2022, valid until February 6, 2024. Signed by Attorney Sahara Buena, Regional Director, submitted.
For the technical requirements, number one is schedule of requirements.
Schedule of requirement, signed, submitted.
Conformity with the technical specifications.
Affidavit of compliance with the technical specification, signed and notarized. Also included are the technical specification with compliance statement, signed by Mr. Joseph Angeles of LSERV Corporation, submitted.
financial requirements, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Original of duly signed and accomplished price schedule of non-technical.
Price schedule for non-technical personnel, signed in accordance with a CAAP form, submitted.
Original of duly signed and accomplished price schedule of technical.
Price schedule for technical personnel in accordance with BAC form, signed, submitted.
Original of duly signed and accomplished summary of price schedule.
Summary of bid proposal, signed by Mr. Joseph Angeles of Elser Corporation, submitted.
Last is the original of duly signed and accomplished form and accomplished financial bid form.
Accomplished financial bid form, signed by Mr. Joseph Angeles. The submitted bid proposal of Elser Corporation in the amount of 694,465,070 pesos and 22 centavos. Again, the submitted bid proposal of Elser Corporation in the amount of 694,465,070 pesos and 22 centavos is within the ABC of this project. With that, Mr. Chair, considering that Elser Corporation submitted a complete set of documents and passed the non-discretionary pass or fail criterion of for the opening of bids, the technical working group hereby recommends that the submitted bid proposal of Elser Corporation to undergo bid evaluation process in order to determine the completeness of the submitted bid documents as well as for corrections and determination of the correct mathematical computation for the consideration of the committee, sir.
All right, thank you, Attorney Irish. At this juncture, we open the floor for any questions or clarification from our members. If there's none, maybe we can have a motion, please, based on the recommendation.
To the chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move to adopt the recommendation of TWG for the further evaluation of the bid documents submitted by ELSER for completeness of bid and mathematical accuracy. Thank you.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. There being a motion duly seconded, the recommendation of the TWG is hereby adopted for the conduct of bid evaluation on the submitted bid of LSERV, and the motion is hereby carried. When will you be presenting this, TWG?
Sir, if you can, sir, we'll be presenting this tomorrow, sir, the bid evaluation report.
All right, thank you. Just notify us. All right, thank you. Let's move forward, please. What's the next item?
Thank you, sir, ma'am. Sir, the next item is the Pre-Procurement Conference for the project Supply, Delivery, Installation, and Commissioning of Cloud PBX System at CAAP Central Office and nearby facilities, amounting to 2,450,000. This is an ODG MISD project. This is for public bidding. This will be presented by Ms. Sofia Paula Fulmaran of the MISD, sir.
All right, please proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon po. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sofia Paula Fulmaran. I'm the officer in charge for the Management Information Systems Division. And we're going to present the supply delivery, installation, and commissioning of the CAAP Cloud PBX system. So, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, through the corporate budget for calendar year 2022, intends to apply the sum of 2,450,000 pesos, being the ABC payments under the contract for the supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of the CAAP Cloud PBX system. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at the opening bid. The CAAP now invites bids for the above procurement project. Delivery of the goods is required by 180 calendar days. Bidders should have completed within the last 5 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids a contract similar to the project. And the description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2. Instruction to the bidders. Then, so the complete bidding documents may be acquired by the interested bidders on 12 April or until the deadline of submission of bid from the given address upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB. Forward. So Section 2 instruction to the bidders. The scope of bid, the procuring entities, Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines wishes to receive bids for the supply, delivery, installation, commissioning of CAAP Cloud PBX system. The procurement project referred to as projects composed of one lot, the details of which are described in Section 7 Technical Specifications. Funding information, the GOP through the source of funding as indicated below for 1 COB 2022 in the amount of 2,450,000 pesos. The source of fund is GOCC GFI's the proposed corporate operating budget. The bidding requirements, the bidding for the project shall be governed by all provisions under RE 9184 and its 2016 revised IRR, including its generic procurement manuals and associated policies, rules, and regulations as the primary source thereof. Any amendments made to the IRR and other GPPB issuances shall be applicable only to the ongoing posting, advertisement, or invitation IB by the BAC through the issuance of supplemental bid or bid bulletin. The bidder, by the act of submitting its bid, shall be deemed to have verified and accepted the general requirements of this project, including other factors that may affect the cost, duration, and execution or implementation of the contract, project, or work, and examine all instructions, forms, terms, and project requirements in the bidding documents. The procuring entity as well as the bidders and suppliers shall observe the highest standard of ethics during the procurement and execution of the contract. They or through an agent shall not engage in corrupt, fraudulent, collusive, coercive, and obstructive practices defined under Annex I of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, or other integrity violations in competing for the project. Eligible bidders, only bids of bidders found to be legally, technically, and financially capable will be evaluated. 5.2 foreign ownership limited to those allowed under the rules may participate in this project. 5.3 pursuant to section 23.4.1.3 of the 2016 revised RR for RA 9184 to avoid the likelihood of a monopoly or failure of bidding that will defeat the purpose of public bidding. The bidder must comply with the following requirements. For procurement, where the procuring entity has determined after the conduct of market research that a possession of either A or B will likely result in monopoly that will defeat the purpose of public bidding, the bidder should comply with the following requirements. Item I completed at least 2 similar contracts, the aggregate amount of which should be given to at least 50% in the case of non-expendable supplies and services, or 25% in the case of expendable supplies of the ABC for this project. And the largest of these similar contracts must be equivalent to at least half the percentage of the ABC as required above. For this purpose, the similar contracts mentioned in item I and I above must have been completed within the period specified in the invitation to bid. The bidders shall comply with the eligibility criteria under section 23.4.1 of the 2016 IRR 9184. Origin of goods. There is no restriction on the origin of goods other than those prohibited by a decision of the UN Security Council taken under Chapter 7 of the UN, subject to domestic preference requirements under ITB Clause 18. Subcontract 7.1. Subcontracting is not allowed. Item number 8, pre-bid conference. The procuring entity will hold a pre-bid conference for this project on the specified date and time through video conferencing or webcasting as indicated in paragraph 6 of the IP. Yes, ma'am.
So to continue, the pre-bid conference will be conducted on April 19 at 2 p.m. as stated in the invitation circular. This will be conducted through video conferencing. For clarification and amendment of bid documents, such request must be in writing and received by the procuring entity at the indicated address or through electronic mail at least 10 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bid. For the documents comprising the bid, the eligibility and technical components, the first envelope shall contain the eligibility and technical documents of the bid specified in section 2A or the checklist of technical and financial documents. For the eligibility, the bidder, Research SLC, as indicated in ITB Clause 5.3, should have been completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. For the financial component of the bid, the second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents for the bid as specified in section 8 or the checklist of the technical and financial documents. And if the bidder claims preference as domestic bidder or domestic entity, a certification issued by the DTI shall be provided by the bidder in accordance with the IRR. Any bids exceeding the ABC indicated in paragraph 1 of the invitation to bid shall not be accepted. For foreign funded procurement, a ceiling may be applied to bid prices provided the conditions are met under section 31.2 of the IRR. For the bid prices, the prices indicated on the price schedule shall be entered separately in the following manner. For goods offered in the Philippines, this is indicated in the bid documents. For the bid security, bid and bid security shall be valid until 120 days from the opening of bids. Any bids not accompanied by any acceptable bid security shall be rejected by the procuring entity as non-responsive. For the sealing and marking of bids, each bidder shall submit one copy of the first and second components of its bid, and the procuring entity may request additional hard copies or electronic copies for the bid. However, failure of the bidders to comply with the said request shall not be a ground for disqualification. The deadline for submission of bids, as indicated in the invitation to bid, shall be on May 2, 2002 at 2 p.m. at the BAC conference, at the CAAP conference room, Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. So, for the opening and preliminary examination of bids, the BAC shall open the bids in public at the time and date and the place specified in paragraph 9. For the bid data sheet, the bidder shall have completed at least 2 similar contracts, the aggregate amount of which shall be equivalent to at least 25% of the ABC of this project as mentioned earlier. And for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall refer to contracts which have the same major categories of work, which shall be supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of PBX system. And this shall be completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. ITB Clause 10.1, the bidder shall submit all eligibility and technical documents as specified in Section 10, checklist of technical and financial documents. So, we will require the PhilJet Certificate of Registration or registration certificate from the SEC, DTI, or CDA, and mayor's or business permit, tax clearance, and for the technical documents, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. We will also include the statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid, original copy of bid security, as mentioned earlier, schedule of requirements, conformity with the technical specification, which may include production delivery schedule, manpower requirements, and or after-sales parts, if applicable. Also included is the Omnibus warrant statement. This shall include the following documents as attachment: certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements. Also, legal clearance and bid bulletin if applicable. For the financial documents, the prospective bidder's audited financial statements showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamp received by the BIR. Also included in the financial documents is the prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity and, if applicable, the joint venture agreement. The applicable CAAP standard forms included in this bid document shall be complied in accordance with the prescribed forms under Section 8. Modifications and or alterations on the stated requirements in the financial document form shall not be allowed. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. The second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents for the bid as specified in Section 9 of the checklist. This will include the original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form and accomplished price schedule. Modifications and or alterations on the stated requirements in the financial document form shall not be allowed. Bids not complying with the above instruction and not in conformity with the BAC standard forms shall be disqualified. So the bid security in the form of bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts, the amount of not less than 49,000 pesos or 2% of the ABC. If bid security is in cash or cashier's or manager's check, bank draft guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit. The amount of not less than 122,500 or 5% of ABC if the bid security is in surety bond. So, for the pagination, each and every page shall be initialed, signed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form page 3 of 100, page number of last page of the document. Pagination should be sequentially based on the entire span of the whole document inside the envelope. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. Each bidder shall submit one copy of the first and second components of its bid. We do not include the additional 2 copies for this one. This has been a standard that has been adopted by um, all the committees. So the bidder for the bid data BDS 19.1, bidder must render its statement of compliance conformity with the bidding documents as enumerated and specified in section 7, technical specification. We also required a form for this one. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. Also, partial bid is not allowed, and the project is packaged in a single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding evaluation and contract award. For the NFCC commutation or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank, we also prescribe a form for this. The bidder with the lowest calculated bid that complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions shall submit its latest income and business tax returns filed through electronic filing and payment system, business licenses and permits required by law. So this includes registration certificate, mayor's permit and tax clearance, as well as the audited financial statements. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award. Provided that in the event that a finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of the IIR. The attached technical specification for the supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of CAAP Cloud PBX system shall be an integral and inseparable part of the contract. So for the checklist, the special conditions of contract are provided in the bid documents, as well as the schedule of requirements, and the technical specification. Included here is also the terms of reference from the end user. We also included the bidding forms, and for the checklist, so for the checklist, we included here valid field reps registration and platinum membership, or registration certificate from SEC, DTI, or CDA, and the mayor's permit, tax clearance, the usual, the technical documents as stated previously, the statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including the SLCC, the original copy of the bid security, or if in the form of the notarized bid securing declaration. Also, the included in the checklist, the schedule of requirements, conformity with the technical specification, um, omnibus sworn statement, and attachment to the omnibus sworn statement is the certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government, the legal clearance, the bid bulletins, and the financial documents, as well as the joint venture agreement. Also included here is the duly notarized statement, if applicable, duly notarized statement from all potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the joint venture agreement in the instance that the bid is successful. For the financial component, envelope to include the financial bid form as well as the price schedule. That's all for the presentation, sir. The end user is open for any questions or clarifications on the bidding documents.
All right. Do you have any questions or clarifications from our members? What is the recommendation, TWG, for posting? Tama?
Yes, sir. The end user as well as the TWG request for the posting of the presented bid documents, sir.
Sige. Do you have any questions from our members? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion, please. Thank you.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I move to adopt the recommendation of TWG for the posting of the project supply, delivery, installation, and commissioning of cloud PBX system at CAAP Central Office and nearby facilities. Thank you.
Good
Thank you, ma'am.
afternoon, Your Honor. I
Do you have a second?
think Ms. Karen is online also.
Do you have a second?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. There being a motion duly seconded, the recommendation is hereby adopted. So let this project be accordingly posted in accordance with the GPPB requirements and PhilJobs requirements. And you, sir, can you just coordinate the requirements with the Secretariat for posting? Thank you. With that, let's move on to the next item in the agenda. We have the mode for procurement for 3 projects. TWG, can you go through this?
Let's hear.
Yes, sir. For the next item, the mode of procurement for the following projects. Sir, this has been, the documents attached for this project has been reviewed by the technical working group, sir. And for the first item, supply and delivery of purified drinking water for the fiscal year 2022, amounting to 999,972 pesos from the supply division. Sir, the recommended mode of procurement is for SBP.
Is it considered for shopping?
Sir, I'm sorry, you did not.
Shopping? Hindi pa to shopping?
No, sir. This will not be considered as shopping, sir, since this is not an off-the-shelf office supply, sir. This is not considered as an office supply.
Okay, sige. Do you have any objections from the members? If there's none, we'll adopt the recommendation. Do you have any objections?
Proceed to this case. This is a
Alright, hearing none, we'll adopt the recommendation for shopping.
pesos.
Next, please.
20.
Sorry, Irish? Nakuha ba?
Sir, this is for SVP, sir.
The second one?
For the second one, sir, is the repair and repainting of ATS building at CAAP covered court, sir. This amounting to 369,775 pesos. For this is an ATS project, sir. The recommended mode of procurement, sir, is SVP, sir. This is not an off-the-shelf housing type, sir.
Sige, do you have any objections from the members? If there's none, we'll adopt the recommendation. Alright, hearing none, recommendation is adopted for SVP. What's the last one?
Sir, the last one is the repair of 2 units here, air conditioning units at Manila Air Traffic Control Tower, Cabroom, amounting to 154,000. This is for the recontracting. Sir, this has undergone 2 failed biddings already, sir. This is why the mode of procurement, the recommended mode of procurement is for the recontracting.
Okay. Bakit siya nag-fail? Walang sumali?
Wala pong sumali, sir.
Sige. But we have, meron tayong pagsasenda ng invitation.
Yes, sir, meron po, sir. Si San Valley Cooperative, sir. The end user already provided us with the service provider, sir.
Okay. Sige, do you have any comments or objections on the recommendation? If there's none, we'll just adopt it. Okay, hearing none, the recommendation is adopted for direct contracting. This ANS, di ba? Emergency repair of 2 units, air conditioning units. Sige, anything else?
Sir, pwede pa pong pahabol, sir. We have one. Also for the determination of mode of procurement, sir.
Which one?
Sir, purchase of various materials for the repair and repainting of ATS building covered court CAAP complex, sir. This one is for SVP, sir.
Ba't wala siya dito sa agenda?
Sir, kakakita lang po ng BAC Secretariat, sir. But in any case, sir, this has been reviewed also by the PWG, sir.
Okay. In any case, this is just mode. So, do you have any objections from the members? This is for SVP?
Yes, sir. This is
Ano ulit to? Painting, repainting, supply. And this is for SVP. Do you have any objections from our members? If there's none, we'll adopt the recommendation. So. Okay, hearing none for SVP?
Yes, sir.
Meron pa?
That would be all, sir, for our agenda for today, sir.
Other matters, wala rin.
No other matters, sir. For the bid evaluation report for the one that we opened earlier, sir, for ELSER Corporation, we will try to present the bid evaluation tomorrow, sir.
Okay, please do. Sige, there being no other items in the agenda, I think it's okay for us to adjourn the meeting. Maraming salamat po for everyone who attended, especially our members. Thank you for being available today. Secretariat, can you just inform us of the next meeting schedule? Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.